Hi Whovians, Harry here, and the classic era of Doctor Who had many weird and wonderful companions, ranging from a robot dog to a Time Lord companion, and it was great to see the different varieties that the Doctor would pick up with people through his travels in time, and it would be great to see how their stories ended, as there were deaths to just people leaving, to people staying on different planets and fighting the fight that they didn't come from. However, NuWho doesn't have the same luxury. Most of the NuWho companions are from the present day, and they're humans, and they end up staying in the present day from where they were picked up by the Doctor, and it just gets a bit repetitive. And this video is going to go over the problem with the NuWho companions and how it potentially could be fixed. But before we get into the video, don't forget to subscribe, also leave a like and comment down below, and let's get in to the video. So, as I stated, all the NuWho companions are from the present day humans, and most of them are female, and as I said, they just seem to go back to a kind of normal life once they leave the TARDIS. They seem to get just like mostly happy endings, just leaving the TARDIS, going back to their normal everyday life. So, as I said, most of the NuWho companions seem to be present-day humans that are mostly female out of the NuWho companions. So let's go through all the NuWho companions to see if they fit these boxes of being from the present day, female, and human. So let's start off Rose Tyler, present-day, female, human. Martha Jones, present-day, female, human. Donna Noble, present, female, human. Amy Pond, present-day female human. Clara Oswald, well, the third Clara is present-day female and human. Yes, there were two more of her, but they were splinters of the present-day Clara, so they don't really count. So Clara is a present-day female human. And then we go into Bill Potts, present-day female human. Yasmin Khan, present-day female human. And then, of course, we did have Graham and Ryan. Of course, they're not female, but they are from the present day and they are human. And also Dan, he isn't female, but he is from the present day and human. Just from me saying that, it gets to be a bit repetitive. Whereas in the classic era, we had robot dogs, we had a chameleon robot thing, we had Time Lord companions themselves, we had kids from different universes. There was a large variety, and it was just amazing to see how they meshed in the TARDIS team. Whereas in NuWho, you know how a human is going to react to the TARDIS, because when we're a human, so how would we react to the TARDIS? And also, we've seen it many times before. And it's not just the way that the NuWho companions are from the present day and are humans and most of them are female. It's the fact that they all get happy endings. I mean, if you just look at Martha, happy ending, she got to work for UNIT, she got to work for Torchwood, she got a life she has, she was with the Dr. Thomas Milligan for most of Series 4, and then she eventually, she broke up with him at some point in Series 4, but ended up, obviously married to Mickey Smith, and they had a nice life together, it seemed. Graham and Ryan, they seem to have a nice life, just go back to their normal life, but with psychic paper so they could get in to anywhere, really. They seem to have a nice life. And Dan, I mean, yes, his house was shrunk, but he seemed to just go back to his normal life. And, I mean, his parents are still around, so he could always move back in with his parents if he needed it. And it's not the worst life living with your parents, and I'm sure he could buy a house. I'm sure the companions aren't too bad for money. None of them seem to be really struggling. So Dan also has a happy ending once he exits the TARDIS. And if you think about all the other companions that weren't able to just leave the TARDIS of their own accord, they still got actually really happy endings. So let's start off with Rose. She gets to live in a parallel universe, which has her father. Now, her father died in the main Doctor Who universe, But she gets to have a life with her whole family. Her father, which everyone thought was lost to her, she gets a life with her mum, her dad, her baby brother. I mean, it's not a bad life. And also, after the events of Series 4, she's left living with a half-human clone of the 10th Doctor. Now, of course, she was in love with the 10th Doctor, and the clone is the clone of the 10th Doctor. The 10th Doctor obviously loved her as well. So she is now living a life with the love of her life. So that is basically one of the happiest endings a Doctor Who companion has ever had. So Rose definitely has a happy ending. And let's move on to Donna. Now, she is returning in the 60th anniversary, so everything I could say about her could turn out to be totally wrong, but I'm going to go through her time and why I think she had a happy ending. So Donna, although she was forced to leave the TARDIS with her memories being wiped of her time in the TARDIS, she has a family. She has a husband, and she has a daughter as well now in the 60th anniversary. And also, at the end of Time Part 2, it is kind of indicated that Donna has won the lottery, and it's a pretty big win, because I think Donna says it's a triple rollover, and it's insinuated that she wins that lottery. So she has a nice family life, and then she has a load of money just basically given to her to buy a house or whatever she wants with that money. That is a really nice life. That is definitely a happy ending. And the next companions are Amy and Rory. And I think they got a happy ending, even though they got trapped back in time by a weeping angel. And here's why. They got to live out their lives together. They were the love of each other's lives. And they got to spend that time together. They were already thinking about quitting the TARDIS. And on top of that, they also have a family as well. Amy and Rory are able to adopt a child, something that is stated in Series 7A that they both really want. And being able to live their lives with obviously each other being the love of each other's lives, and also being able to have a family, I say that is a happy ending for them. And then we move on to Clara. And Clara did die in Face the Raven. However, in Hellbent, the 12th Doctor manages to get to Gallifrey and extract Clara from her point in time just before she dies. So that makes her kind of immortal, as it explains that her own heart is no longer beating, but she can interact with things, she can move about in all of space and time. So she can still live a life day after day without aging or dying in any other way. She's like basically a mortal being. And also, it is also revealed in Hellbent that she has her own TARDIS to travel the whole of time and space in, with a companion, of course, in me or a shielder or however, that immortal girl from The Girl Who Died and the Woman Who Lived, whatever she goes by, she has her own TARDIS and companion to travel all the time and space with. And she is also immortal as well, so she can just go through all of these adventures without fear of dying again. And yes, she eventually does have to go back to Gallifrey, but she could live 100 of our lifetimes before she goes back to a point in time and dies, because she could go back whenever she wants, as she can't age, so she can go back whenever she wants, and it's kind of, her death will still happen, but she can live however many lifetimes she wants. And that is kind of a happy ending. And then we get to a sort of weird situation. So next up is Bill, and she did get converted to a Cyberman in The Doctor Falls. However, at the end of Twice Upon a Time, Heather returned to free Bill from being a Cyberman, and they seem to like go off into the universe together as like sort of a cosmic being. Now, if you don't know who Heather is, she was like kind of the girl in the pilot. That's what the episode was called in series 10. And it's kind of turned out she was a cosmic being after staring into this puddle. I don't know, it's weird. But she comes back in Twice Upon a Time, somehow frees Bill from being a Cyberman, and then they travel off into the universe together. And eventually, in expanded media, it is revealed that Bill eventually returned back to her normal life with Heather as her girlfriend. So she comes back to the life she started off with before she met the Doctor, but with an added bonus of having Heather as her girlfriend. So I would say that is a step up from where she left with the Doctor, so that's definitely a happy ending for Bill. And it doesn't end there for weird companion departures, because now we move on to the final companion departure, which is Yaz. And Yaz was kind of forced to leave the TARDIS and the love of her life, of course, being the 13th Doctor. But again, she still has her whole life ahead of her, as well as a support group to work through having to kind of being forced to leave the TARDIS. So she can work through it with all companions that have kind of been through this before, as well as having a whole life ahead of her. So again, it's not a bad life. And if you've listened to all of these companion departures, you know now that the showrunners don't like to out and out kill a companion. They more kind of just want them to have a straight out departure, or kind of kill them, but in a way that they still get a life. I don't know, it's very weird. Rather than in the classic era where if they wanted a companion to die, they kill the companion. But if they want them to have a good life, they let them have a good life. And even in the classic era where companion departures are a bit more ambiguous with Leela and Romana too, they still kind of being able to have a happy life and a different life rather than just going back to present day. Whereas all these NuWho companions are basically in present day and able to live a normal life. So there's definitely a problem with NuWho Companions because we want that bit of tension. That's why we watch Doctor Who. But if you know that the companion is just going to go back to a normal day after all their adventures, it kind of takes a bit of weight out of, the time that we've had with them when they were the Doctor's companion. And unfortunately, this trend looks to continue with Ruby Sunday, as she looks to be from the present day, is a female, and is human. And also, Russell T Davies is back, and he didn't, outright killing his companions. So it looks like she'll have the same progression as every other companion we've seen in NuWho, as well as not dying at the end of Series 14, Series 15, Series 16, whatever series she's going to leave. However, an easy way of avoiding this obstacle is literally just create a companion that isn't human. I mean, the Doctor travels to loads of other planets. He could pick up a companion there. He doesn't have to keep going back to present-day Earth. Could even be a human that is from, the 51st century, where Captain Jack is from. Just pick someone that isn't present-day human. I mean, it's not that hard. And also, don't be afraid to take risks. Kill off the companion if you want. Just stick to it. But those are just my opinions. Let me know down in the comments below if you like this NuWho companion format or if you think it deserves a shake-up. And also, if you like this video, don't forget to leave a like, also subscribe, and share it out, and I will see you in the next one.